last few hours and really figure out, how can I make sure to really have that change? And the most important piece is to realize also, what is it back in my life that is going to need to change based on how I've changed? Because what happens is we go back, the people are the same, environment is the same, situation is the same, therefore I fall back into the same habits. And while you're here also, figure out and literally write down, make lists. What am I going to change? And it may be major and it may be minor. It may simply be getting up every day to meditate. It may be meditating on my lunch hour. It may be letting go. Realizing I don't need to micromanage the universe. Realizing I don't need to make you speak, live, act, sing, dance according to what I want in order for me to feel happy, right? As we've talked about. My happiness, my fullness, my completeness is not based upon how you sing or dance according to my tune. It's based on me. And to take that back. And as you move through your world, to keep reminding yourselves of that. To keep reminding yourself, what am I choosing in this moment? Regardless of what the environment is, regardless of what the people around you are saying or doing, you have a choice, you have power, you have control, you have the reins in your hands. To choose peace, to choose love. And that's the power we have to go back with. It's not first you do what I want, then I am peaceful. First you act according to how I want, then I am happy, then I love you. But how can I choose love and choose peace? Not because the situation even warrants it, not because people have proven to me that they deserve it, but because I deserve it. Because I deserve to live in love and in peace, regardless of what's happening around me. Because living in love and living in peace is the truth of who I am. Not something that's dependent upon whether you respect me and are nice to me, but due to who I am. And we take that practice back. Take it back in every moment, like in our meditations, when we just bring the mind back. Bring the mind back. Bring it back in the same way. As we move through our world, we bring it back to love. Back to love. How can I choose love in this moment? Doesn't mean, of course, that we love what everyone does. Doesn't mean, oh, thank you so much for lying to me and betraying me and abusing me. That was great. I don't have to love what you did. I don't have to love your actions or love your personality or love your choices, love your words. But I can choose love within me in that moment, regardless of your actions and your words. I can choose peace within me, regardless of your actions or your words. And that's, thank you, sweetie. And that's the greatest gift. Because to be peaceful when everybody around you is really nice, when they're feeding you what you want to eat, giving you whatever you want, loving you, respecting you, taking care of you, doing whatever you say, it's easy. But that's not what life's about. And our highest goal is not how do I figure out how to mold the world according to my very narrow level of tolerance, but rather how do I become an embodiment of love and peace. You know, for those of you who have come in from other countries, you'll notice that in India, we worship the cow. People ask this all the time, why do we worship the cow? And there's whole beautiful scriptural references about the cow as the giver. We say the mother cow, the giver of everything, because every piece of the cow, and I don't mean when you kill it and cut it up, we're all pure vegetarians, but I mean the urine, the milk, the manure, all, like whatever the cow excretes is this wonderful gift. Cow urine is a fantastic antibacterial agent. People drink it, they use it to clean. I mean, it's great for everything. Cow manure, fantastic organic fertilizer. Milk, of course, fantastic for us. So that's one of the reasons they worship the cow. But for me, the worship of the cow comes because of the cow's ability to embody exactly what we're talking about. Because the cow is not a stupid animal. She's actually a very smart animal. But you drive through Delhi, you drive through Mumbai, you drive through here, but bigger cities it's even more apparent. Huge big roads, 6-lane, big roads, jam-packed full of traffic going in every direction. And smack in the middle, the cow, asleep, or just meditating, or just thinking, just lying there. Horns are honking, people are screaming, traffic this way, traffic that way. Now, if she were stupid, you could just say, oh, well, she doesn't know better. But she's not. She's actually a very, very smart animal. But that ability to be noiseless amidst the noise, that ability to find peace in the chaos, for most of us, it's like, oh, shut up, I'm trying to meditate, be quiet. I need to be in peace. Shh, stay away. Don't do that, don't do this, you're disturbing my peace. But the cow is this beautiful example of how, even in the midst of honking horns, traffic, chaos, how to be in peace. Now, I'm not expecting that we're all going to get to the point where we could lay down in the middle of the road and not worry. But can we at least get to the point where we can move through our families, our workplaces, our neighborhoods, grocery shopping, running errands, moving from one place to another place, peacefully? That noiselessness, and this is what India gives you. It's not about find a place that's quiet. It's not about find a place where nobody's honking their horn or everybody's sitting quietly. It's about finding that stillness in the midst of the chaos. And if you can find it here, then it's yours. It's yours wherever you live. It's yours on the subways of Manhattan. It's yours in the high rises of any city in the world. And that's the gift. So as you've been here on the banks of Ganga, as we've had this beautiful opportunity to meditate in peace, in quiet, surrounded by people who are meditating, we take that and we make it so deeply our own that whether we're on a subway, whether we're in a high-rise, whether we're in a boardroom, that's ours. Because that's ultimately the highest spiritual teaching. All of our scriptures tell us God lives within all. There's no scripture in the world I know of that says, oh, God is only in this one little corner over here. Oh, the only way to see God is over here in this little corner. God is infinite. If If God weren't infinite, it wouldn't be God. Then it would just be a person or a tree. When it's God, it's infinite. When God is infinite, omnipresent, everywhere, it means whether it's a subway of Manhattan, whether it's a high-rise somewhere, whether it's a boardroom somewhere, not only is God there in this sort of ethereal kind of yes, in the atmosphere somewhere, God is there. But actually, that divine is there in the form of all of the people I'm interacting with. Because all of the creation has been created not just by the Creator, but of the Creator, which means that that core, that essence, that soul, that spirit of all is divine. And so make sitting in the boardroom your spiritual practice. Can you be sitting there looking up at your boss or your employee or your competitor? And can you see the divine in them? Can the divine in you connect with the divine in them? And again, it doesn't mean you have to like their actions. Doesn't mean you have to buy whatever they're selling. Doesn't mean you have to agree to merge your company. But it means regardless of the dance of the business, regardless of the dance of the negotiation, can you actually realize that on the highest, deepest, truest level, that dance is not what it's about? On the highest, deepest, truest level, what it is about is knowing the truth of yourself, which is the soul, the spirit, consciousness, divinity, love, truth, which is also the truth of not only everyone here, but everyone wherever you go, whether they know it or not. And so can you see that in them? Let that be your spiritual practice. Otherwise, we find ourselves sitting in traffic on the way to yoga class or meditation class, but we're late. And it's, oh my God, I'm late. I'm going to miss my meditation. Oh my God, I'm going to miss my yoga. And it's your fault. You made me late. And then we're angry at the person in the car sitting next to us, angry at our spouse or our child or our parent who made us late, angry at the pedestrians, angry at the traffic. You told me to take this way, but this way has traffic. I know it has traffic. I never should have listened to you. It's your fault. Your fault we're going to miss going to yoga and connecting with God. Your fault I'm going to miss going to meditation and finding peace. Can we let the journey to get to our meditation classes be meditation? Can we let the journey of getting to our yoga classes be yoga? Can we let the journey of getting to our houses of worship, our mandirs, our churches, our mosques, our synagogues, our gurdwaras, can we let the path of getting there be one that connects us to God? Or are we only able to see God when we enter the four walls of our house of worship? And if so, then that's not what God teaches us. So can we take the divine teachings and actually implement them? Can we let our lives be a spiritual practice? So frequently I hear, I don't have time. I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to pray. Okay. Well, I'm not going to tell you how to schedule your life. I'm not going to tell you what to give up. But even if you really are that busy, even if you really don't have 5 minutes, you bathe, right? Well, water is life. Water is holy. In all of our traditions, water is sacred. As you're bathing, can you connect with the divine? Can you connect with that essential purity and divinity within yourself of, oh God, as this water washes over me, purify not only the dirt off my body, but also remove my ignorance, remove whatever anger or grudges or ego has come up today. Remove my frustration at my family members or my colleagues. Remove all of that. At least you've got your 5 minutes in the shower. Can you walk meditatively from your car to the office, from the bus station to the office, from your office to the lunchroom, from one meeting to another meeting? As you walk, can you chant? So hum, so hum, so hum, as we did in the meditation, right? I am that. I am that. I am the universe. I am one with all that exists. So hum, so hum. Okay, if not while you're sitting with eyes closed in meditation, do it as you're walking. Let the right foot be so, the left foot be hum, so hum. There's lots of ways to weave this into your life. Take it home. Such that really, it wasn't just, as we've been saying, a holiday, but it really is a holy day and the beginning of the holy days of your life. I'll end here in order to open it up for any questions that anyone may have. Yes. We may only have one mic, so you may have to just come up a little bit so I can hear you. That's all right, I can hear him. We're close enough, yeah. Great. Yeah, isn't it an interesting irony? As he said, I find myself very deficient in the motivation department of spiritual practice. How can I be motivated to engage more in spiritual practice? And it's such an interesting irony, because raise your hand if you know that meditation is the more meditation you do, the happier you will be in your life. Raise your hand if you know that. Okay, great. Now, raise your hand if you meditate every day without fail. So, a very, very small number of us. And this is the irony. We know it's what's the best for us. But how many of us choose 15 minutes on Facebook instead of 15 minutes of meditation, right? Somehow you can find the time. You can find the time to go on Facebook and not the time to meditate. Even though we know at our core that actually meditation is going to bring us the deepest happiness. And it raises a very interesting question, which is, why are we not engaging as fully as we can with that which brings us actually what we want? A lot of it is simply habit, simply sanskaras, simply the way that our brains tend to work. Our phone beeps, bings. We may not have planned to check Facebook. It's not like we necessarily wake up in the morning thinking, oh, I can't wait to check Facebook. Maybe even we say, I'm not going to check Facebook. But then, beep, bing, bling, ring, some kind of light, some sort of vibration, something happens in this device. And we react. Let me check it. And this is where tools are very important. So for example, set yourself up with a rule. It's going to vary from person to person, but what hour of the morning is the first time you're going to check your phone? Don't check it as soon as you roll out of bed. What is the first hour of the day you'll check your phone? You decide what's right. But it needs to be after meditation. And if you find that because your phone is your alarm clock, the minute you go to turn off your alarm, you see all these things and then you're stuck, buy yourself a $10 or $5 alarm clock. Very simple solution. Just buy an alarm clock. They're cheap. Leave your phone in the other room. Turn off notifications. You don't have to get a beep, a bling, a ding every single time something happens. Or turn them off certain hours a day. But regain control over your time. Otherwise, what happens is we take these pledges, these commitments, and we don't follow through because instead of actually acting, we react. So we have a plan, but we don't follow the plan because we spend all day reacting to what happens. I was planning to get this done, and then, oh my God, these emails came, and my whole day went in just responding to them and doing what these guys wanted. And I ended up not doing what I had planned to do today. And this is where it's so important to regain control over those reins. What is it that you need to get done? And some of it's going to be work. Some of it's going to be spiritual practice. Some of it's going to be exercise. Some of it's going to be time with your family. It'll be whatever it is. But make sure that your life is not simply spent reacting to every beep, bling, ding, light, flash. And then ask yourself very, very deeply, what is it that I want most in life? And there's no right answer to that. And ask yourself what it is that's going to give you that. Because low motivation simply may be, I'm not really fully convinced that it is going to make me happier. That I've heard it, I've read it, people say it, but maybe I doubt it. Maybe on my core level, I actually think the extra hour of sleep is going to make me happier. Or at least in that moment. The alarm goes off, and my mind says, oh, I'm going to be so much happier sleeping for the next hour than I am getting up to meditate. And this is where you have to really create a pattern, a lifestyle, in which you give yourself at least enough days in a row getting up and doing it that you have time to experience yourself how it transforms you. Otherwise, it won't work. You know, when kids are little, parents say to them, brush your teeth, remember, brush your teeth. Kids always forget. How many times do parents have to pull their kids back out of bed in the night because they realize the kids have not brushed their teeth before they got into bed? But how many of us walk out of the house having forgotten to brush our teeth? Right? Never happens. Because there's this feeling in the mouth when you know you don't need a sticky note on your door that says, remember to brush your teeth before you walk out. Inside you, something's not right until you brush your teeth. In the same way, develop a habit of meditation such that when you don't meditate, you feel it inside. And that's going to give you the motivation. And you know what? It doesn't have to be 5 hours a day. Because you may find that in an hour or in an hour and a half, your battery's charged. And then you can use those extra 3.5, 4 hours for spirituality in action, meditation in action. Use them to serve. Don't expect that you're going to get to the point necessarily where you're going to be able to be motivated to meditate 5 hours a day. I remember many years ago, during Navaratri, which is the very sacred 9 days, I had decided, okay, I'm going to spend these 9 days only meditating. I'm going to basically meditate morning till night every day. And those of you who know me know that for me, my spiritual practice is rooted very, very, very deeply in service, in seva. And yes, I have a seated practice in my room in the morning and the night, but all day long, it's meditation in action. But I had decided that I needed to do more of the in my room, eyes closed, on the cushion practice. And so I went to my guru, Puja Swamiji, and I said, this is what I'm going to do. And of course, in zero humility, I didn't say to him, this is an idea I had, what do you think? But instead I went and I said, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I want to do. And he, being the extraordinary guru that he is, did not say to me, well, that's really not a smart idea. It's not going to give you what you think you're looking for. He said, okay, if that's what you've decided, my blessings are with you. So I realized day one that the experience of peace and joy and grounding that I have after my morning meditation didn't get more and more deeper the longer I sat. That I basically plateaued at the level that I was reaching every morning. That the extra hours that I kept sitting were not actually taking me any deeper. And I noticed something very interesting, which was my night meditation, the before sleep meditation, was less deep when I had spent the day sitting in my room doing spiritual practice than when I had spent the day in my office engaged in seva. But I was too embarrassed the first day to say anything, and I thought, well, maybe it's just the first day. So I spent a couple of days trying to kind of squeeze a deeper level of experience out of myself. But every day was the same. And on the third day, I finally went to Puja Swamiji, and I said, okay, I realize there's no point in this because the meditation that I'm already doing in the morning is taking me to this extraordinary, beautiful place. There isn't anywhere else I'm supposed to be going. And interestingly, my night meditations have become so much less deep. And so I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm coming back. And he said, oh no. He said, you've taken a sankalp. You've taken a pledge. Like, you've made your bed, now lie in it. And he actually made me do the entire 9 days. And it was so it was so transformative on so many levels. But the point that I mention is, it was the last time that I thought, oh, I know, I need to spend more time just seated. And I realized that through the grace, in the time that I'm already spending seated, I'm reaching there. I'm going there. I'm in exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm having exactly the experience that I'm supposed to have. And then the reward of spending the day in service is the beautiful meditation in the evening. And that it's not about more in terms of quantity. It's about the quality. And so I mentioned that to you, that don't necessarily think that 5 hours is inherently better than an hour and a half. You know, Puja Swamiji gives the beautiful example. He says when you are first building your home, it takes a long time to lay all of the electrical wires. You spend a lot of time planning all of your electrical mapping and whatnot, getting all the wires laid. But once the wires have been laid and you want to turn something on, you just have to plug it in. You don't actually have to relay all the electrical wires all the time. And this is what meditation does, is it's laying the wires. And ultimately the goal is to reach a point where you just close your eyes and you are there. And so don't berate yourself for the fact that you can't be motivated for 5 hours a day of seated meditation. If in whatever that time is that you can motivate yourself for, you're having that experience of truth, of oneness, of expansion, and it's growing day by day, then be grateful for how quickly it's coming and how many extra hours you've been given to be able to serve. And realize, of course, that your spiritual practice is not just what you do sitting on the cushion with your eyes closed in the dark. Your spiritual practice is how you move through the world. Wonderful. Yes, sweetie. So is that the question? Is the question why? So she said, why is it that in our spiritual practice we go 1 step forward and then 3 steps back? So it's not always like this. But when we are in these 3 steps back, it feels like it's always like this. And that's the dilemma. When you're in that moment, it feels like, oh, it's always like this. Ask yourself, in that 1 step forward then, is the step that I'm taking forward really an internal transformation step? Or is it a step that I'm taking forward because the outer circumstances have conspired to make me feel peaceful and spiritually uplifted? So is it more of the vacation experience of spirituality, that it happened to be a nice day, a peaceful place, people were nice, things were going well, I felt good, everything was good? Because if what you find is that over and over, it's 1 step forward, 3 steps back, then I would say rather than worrying too much about the 3 steps back, let's look more carefully at that 1 step forward and figure out how can we make that 1 step forward a step that lasts. Because if I'm walking and I'm walking without good balance, or I'm walking on my tiptoes, or I'm walking with my eyes closed, or I'm walking while I'm drunk, yeah, I may take 1 step forward and then fall back. Take 1 step forward and then a little bit of wind blows and I'm pushed back. Take 1 step forward, somebody bumps into me, I'm 3 steps back. But if I'm really anchored and grounded and solid, that 1 step forward, until and unless there's actually an earthquake, or until and unless something happens that literally comes and shoves me back against all my strength, I should be able to maintain that. And so this is where it's important to look at what is that 1 step. Am I really going within? Am I really letting go of that which makes me wobbly? And if not, then how can I do that? How can I make that 1 step forward more grounded, more anchored, deeper, fuller? So that when I get to where I'm going, that 1 step, I'm solid. And then not only is it not 3 steps back, but then it's another new step forward. And that's an important thing to look at. And yeah, things still happen. I know you personally have just recently lost an important loved one. That's the equivalent of sort of the world coming and shoving us back. It happens. And that's when we reground ourselves, re-anchor ourselves. But if you find that it happens over and over and over again, not only when I lose a loved one, but other times, then it's important to really look. But if it's just, I just went through a tragedy, why do I feel back? Give yourself a break. Some of that compassion you have for the world, shine it on yourself. Because we're spiritual beings having a very human experience. And to not have compassion for the human experience isn't spiritual. All of that loving kindness, all of that compassion that we generate and try to share and have for the world, well, we also are included in that world. If someone came to you and said, God, I don't know what to do. I've lost a close loved one. I'm feeling so lost. Would you say, oh my God, you're so unspiritual? Of course not, right? You'd say, oh, sweetheart, come here. It's okay. So do that for yourself. That is your 1 step forward. Okay? Good. Wonderful. So we'll conclude here for now. What is your name? Garima. So Garima, we will start with your question in the satsang this evening. Okay? Wonderful. So, but I do want to conclude here just so people have time to have a cup of tea or coffee or water or whatever before the arati, get some warm clothes, and then come back for the sacred yagna and arati, and then we'll see you all in satsang after the arati.